So welcome to our mini class based on the theme of the week, which is around the breath and working on strengthening the breath or strengthening the muscles that support the breath. So we talked in the full class about doing this breath where we breathe with awareness into different quadrants. So the chest, belly, upper back, lower back. And we won't go through that again here. It is the beginning of the other classes, so you can tune into that. And that is a practice that you could certainly do every day. We're going to work on a little bit different aspects of the breath, so focusing on, first of all, lengthening the exhalation a little bit, and then bringing some movement in. So we talked in some of the classes about the Ujjayi breath or the Ha breath, and that helps to slow the exhale down a little bit. So it's kind of like whispering. So when you whisper, the vocal cords constrict a little bit. They come together, and there's just a little opening with the whisper. And so it's like a ha, like a whisper. So you can inhale normally. So you can do this with your mouth open or with your mouth closed. So for some people, it's easier with the mouth open to get a sense of that ha sound. You can imagine you're trying to fog a mirror or clean your glasses, that kind of thing. But you can do it just as well with the mouth closed. So I'm exaggerating the sound. Hopefully it's being picked up by the microphone. Now, if that breath technique feels uncomfortable to you or creates agitation for you, just breathe normally. So there's no value in working with the breath if it's creating agitation or restriction in a way that feels tight or uncomfortable. So you can stay with that breath if you like, or you can let it go. And if you're familiar with Ujjayi breath and you also want to add the sound to the inhale, you're welcome to do that, but it's not necessary for this practice. So take a few more breaths to just find that rhythm for yourself, whatever's going to work for you. And I should have mentioned you could be sitting on a chair or the ground. Being on the ground is not required, so being in a chair for this part is totally fine. So we're going to add some gentle movement, and we're going to start with the cat-cow type movement here seated. Now, if you prefer to be on hands and knees for cat-cow, you can shift to hands and knees or stay seated. So we're going to lift the chest, find arch in the back, and then round the back. So arching and rounding or extending and flexing the spine. And then coming back to neutral. So this next one you could also do on all fours, wagging your tail side to side to get the side bend. But if you're seated, you can bring one hand to the chair or the ground, lift the other arm up. And we're going to work one side at a time here. So as you exhale, find a little lift and maybe a little to the side. Come up on your inhale. Make sure you're bending the elbow of the side that you're going towards so you're not cranking up on the shoulder. Right, and we'll switch sides. So sinking down into the sit bone as you lift the arm, relaxing the shoulder, and then exhale to the side, inhale to center. So if you're on all fours, you could Wag your tail or do some circles with your hips, getting some movement into the sides of your body. Great, and then you'll come back to the center, and let's repeat the cat-cow movement. So either on all fours or seated, bringing the spine forward and back. This is the way the spine naturally moves with the breath. We're exaggerating that movement. With the inhale, there's a lift and an arch, and exhale, sinking down, drawing in and rounding. Right, and then coming back up to a neutral position. If you've come to hands and knees, I'll be with you in a moment. If you're still seated, lift the arms up with the breath in, find a little lift through the heart, and then you can bring the hands to the legs or to the ground if you're sitting on the floor to come forward, and repeat that movement. So you'll do that a few more times. If you're on all fours, you can come to a kneeling position. And your inhale will be lifting up, raising the arms. Your exhale, hands come behind you as you come forward. If you find that you feel a little top heavy, instead of bringing the hands behind, you might bring the hands instead to the mat to support you. Try to let your head release wherever you are. So the back of the neck lengthens. I'm not always able to demonstrate that because I don't want to interfere with the microphone. But really letting the head go on every forward bend. You can stay for a few breaths, again, either seated or in child's pose, letting the neck release even more. See if you can feel some breath in the back of your body. Could be lower back, upper back, middle back, as you hang out in this forward bend. And then we're going to make our way down onto our bellies. This is a really great way to work with the breath, is from a position, prone position on the belly. You can get there however is comfortable for you, whatever feels like is easeful for you. If you want to work a little bit more with some strength, you can come first to plank pose, either with your knees down or up. Take a couple of breaths there, and then bend the elbows to lower right down to the ground. Find a comfortable position for your head. Your head could be resting on your hands, or maybe turn to one side, although a spine, a neck that's in line with your spine, maybe a little bit more comfortable than the head cranked to the side, but whatever works for you. And then turn your toes in, heels out. And we'll take a few breaths here. So you may notice that the breath in the front of the body is constricted by the ground. So you might breathe into that constriction a little. And we're not trying to breathe as deeply as we can, but just noticing the edges of the breath when we ask a little more of the breath. So as well as feeling the breath being constricted a bit by the ground in the front, feel the freedom in the back of the body. Feel where the breath does move when it's constricted. So when you're ready, you can bring your arms down to your sides so that the elbows are tucked into your sides and the hands are on either side of your face, roughly. Forehead to the ground. And then here you want to bring the tops of the feet flat to the floor, or tuck your toes under if that's more comfortable, especially if your feet tend to cramp. And then we're pressing down into the hips, gently engaging the buttocks, the thighs, pressing into the feet. And then let the breath do 90% of the work here. As you inhale, Chest and head lift slightly off the ground. Exhale, they lower down. So inhale, as if the breath is lifting you. Exhale, as if the breath is releasing you. It doesn't have to be much movement at all to work those muscles that support the breath and posture. You can keep moving dynamically, or you can pause and rest, or you could stay for a few breaths. When you're staying, really find ease in the shoulders and arms. Let the breath lift you each breath in. The exhale may lower you down a little bit. Right, and then when you feel ready, you can lower down and relax the hips, relax the legs. Take a couple more breaths here. Again, you could support your head if that's helpful. Relaxing the muscles of the lower back, breathing into the back body again. One or two more breaths, and then we're going to roll over onto our backs. So as you're ready, just take your time to slowly roll over, coming onto your back, and bring your knees up into your chest. So you can place one hand on each knee, and we'll move the knees away by straightening the arms, taking a breath in, and then knees toward your chest as you exhale. Inhaling, knees away. Exhaling, drawing the knees in. Let the exhale slow down a little now. Again, as long as that doesn't create strain. If you've been working with that ha breath or ujjayi breath, you can stay with it here, but you can also always let it go. Right, eventually, we'll release the feet to the floor. Separate the feet slightly and take the arms to the sides. And we'll work with another movement that helps to lengthen the exhale by bringing more focus there. So the twist, we usually will exhale to the side, inhale to the center, but in this case, we're going to exhale to the side and exhale to the center, breathing in each of those positions. So we'll breathe in here and then exhale to the side. You can turn your head the other way if you like. Breathe in here and then exhale back to center. Breathe in the center and then exhale to the side. Breathe in at the side and exhale to center. Breathe in, exhale as you move. Breathe in when you're stationary, exhale as you move. Eventually finding your way back to center after you've done a few rounds. Your breath may be slower or faster than mine, so feel free to continue until you've done an even number. If you remember the side that you started at, you can end on the other side. And then whenever you're ready and you come back to the center, you can bring your knees back to your chest and either repeat the movement that we did a moment ago, the forward and back movement, or if you want a little more, you can extend the arms and legs, either arms to the sides or overhead, extend the legs, and then come back to the center. So you'd inhale as you extend, exhale back to center. Okay, and then holding the knees here, any movement or just staying still for a few breaths. And then coming back to the center, as long as it's comfortable for you, give the knees a little squeeze in, not so that you're creating any tension in the hips or back, just letting the arms be heavy. And take a few breaths here, noticing where the breath goes when it's restricted in this way. So we've got the ground beneath us, the thighs against the belly, or somewhere in that vicinity, even if the legs are a little further away, it's still creating a bit more constriction. Just notice where the breath moves. And gradually release your feet to the floor and bring your hands onto your body. We'll take a couple more breaths here to simply feel the breath again as it is, without restriction, without constriction, without manipulation. Just nice, easy breaths, a few more breaths. And here would be a really good place to drop the Ujjayi breath as well. So there's no technique, there's nothing but your breath. Relax your throat, your face, your neck, shoulders and arms. And then, as much as possible, keeping that softness in the body, we'll roll to one side and come back to sit. So again, you can be up on a chair or couch or edge of the bed or on a cushion or just sitting on your mat, whatever you like. Let's take a moment to find a comfortable position. And then I invite you to bring your hands into Anjali Mudra. So this is the arms, hands out in front with the palms open, like you're creating a little bowl with your hands. And if you like, you could close your eyes and take a moment to connect with something you want or desire. It could be something you need. But imagining something you want, something you desire. And then imagine that thing falling from the sky into your hands. And feeling the weight of that, whether it's an idea or a place or a person or a thing, doesn't matter. Maybe it's a way you want to feel. What is it that you want? And then bring that to your heart, placing one hand over the other in the center of your chest, the heart center. And breathe that in. Breathe in that want. Breathe in that desire. Imagine that thing that you want or you desire, that you already have it, that it rests within your heart. And then whatever joy or connection you may have come into in this exercise, offering that out, offering some space, some peace, some joy to whoever might need it in this world that's struggling and suffering right now. Just offering out whatever might be useful or helpful. One more time. And then bringing the hands together in namaste or prayer position. And taking a moment to be grateful for whatever it is that you feel gratitude for right now. When we connect with gratitude, we connect with joy, we connect with what we have. Namaste. So I hope you found that mini class helpful. You can certainly do that class any day, every day, a few times a day if you want. It's meant to be a supplement to the longer class. So if you do the longer class, once a week, you could do the shorter class a couple times. You could certainly do the longer class every day if that suits you, whatever works for you. So each week you'll see a mini class if you're signed up for the series, and I thank you for signing up, and have a great day.